Broadcasting live from the Newsmax studio in New York City, here is Steve Malzberg.
When I hear allegations of misconduct, any misconduct, whether it's allegations of VA staff covering up long wait times or cooking the books, I will not stand for it. Not as Commander-in-Chief, but also not as an American. None of us should. So, if these allegations prove to be true, it is dishonorable, it is disgraceful, and I will not tolerate it, period.
All right, about 10 days late and $10 short, I would say. Dr. Ben Carson is still here, the author of One Nation, here on the Steve Malzberg Show. His great new book, soon, I'm sure, destined to be a bestseller like others. All right, your response to the president here.
It's hard not to laugh because we've heard this before. You know, when the IRS scandal was first, oh, this is horrible, I'm going to get to the bottom of this. And then later on, oh, it's a phony scandal like all the others.
And Benghazi, he wasn't going to rest until we brought someone to justice.
Correct. And I'm not sure he even understands the implications of these things. What are we saying to our troops with the Benghazi situation? If you get in trouble and we deem it too dangerous to save you, you're on your own. We have never done that before. And that does a lot to destroy the morale of our military. Even if there was no chance, and I don't believe that there was no chance, we should have still made an attempt. Our enemies have to know that we are coming and that they are going to face something.
Absolutely. We didn't know how long it was going to last. How could they say they couldn't get there in time? What does that mean?
Absolutely absurd. And then how do we put people in a position where we can't protect them?
Yeah.
What does that say about our ability to foresee things?
But let's talk about the veteran scandal here and the VA. I mean, you know, a lot of people are saying these waiting periods, this inability to see a doctor, waiting to see a specialist. This is just a precursor to what's going to happen to all of us under Obamacare.
Well, you know, I've worked in VA hospitals, and there is a lot of bureaucracy there. There are a lot of layers there, and naturally, the more layers you put there, the longer it's going to take to do things. So that's the very reason that I rail so much against Obamacare. I don't rail against Obamacare because of the website or because of the ever-increasing premiums or the bureaucracy. I rail against it because it has taken healthcare out of the hands of the people where it belongs. It should be between the patient and the healthcare provider, not in the hands of government bureaucrats. And you're talking about the most important thing you have,
Absolutely.
Your health. And if the government can gain control of the most important thing you have, guess what? They're getting control of everything else too.
Absolutely.
That's the whole point.
And you pointed out about Marxism and how everywhere it's been instituted or forced upon people, the first thing they do is healthcare. Healthcare. They go for government healthcare. Yeah. And you shocked the view with that yesterday, I got to say.
Well, you know, I tell people, don't listen to me. Go read the books.
Yeah.
You know, there's a great book called The Naked Communist. It was published in 1958. Cleon Skousen, the same guy who did the 5,000-year leap, he lays out the whole leftist progressive agenda. But he thought it was going to take longer than this.
Yeah.
We all should be shocked at how quickly these things have happened. Primarily, he didn't anticipate that the mainstream media would jump in the boat with him.
Should the president have fired Krzyzewski? Should he be gone?
Well, I believe that he has demonstrated that he doesn't have the ability to lead that organization, but it shouldn't just be him. This is a systemic thing. This is not just the one man.
Right. This
is a very inefficient system, and it needs to be dealt with.
Yeah, it's very. All right. So the book. I want to get back to the book for a second here. You have hopes of uniting this nation, as polarized as we are. Do you really think that after everybody reads One Nation by Ben Carson, that they're going to say, you know what, we're going to come together?
I don't think everybody will say that, but I think a substantial number of people will be enlightened, because one of the things that we demonstrate there, and we show it in ways that are not partisan in any way, who the people are, who stand to gain from all this divisiveness, and how they empower themselves, and how they manipulate us. And I also make the very strong point that freedom, which we have and have been the beacon of for a long time, is not free.
Absolutely.
You have to work to maintain it.
In so much, militarily and otherwise. You say you don't want to run for, or you have no intention to run for. I don't want to put words in your mouth, but you hope there's a strong conservative candidate, and you've said if God calls you. Tell me where you are right now with the prospect of running for president for 2016.
Well, I still don't want to be president.
You don't want to be president. I don't want. You know, that would come back to haunt you if you decide to run. You know that.
Whether I run or not, I don't want to.
Okay. Okay.
Would I consider it if after the November elections, the populace has demonstrated that they actually understand what's going on?
All right, so a landslide, let's say it's a landslide.
And have made the appropriate changes.
Mm-hmm.
And no one else really seems to be articulating things in a way that generates a lot of excitement. Have you seen,
we only have less than a minute, have you seen a Republican candidate articulate in a way that makes you, that satisfies you? You don't have to name them if you don't want, but have you seen that yet?
Well, it's not there yet, but that doesn't mean that it can't develop.
Okay.
Because
who do you like?
Nobody has really announced.
Who do you like?
I like everybody.
Okay. And if nobody comes forward, if by when you don't see it, you would decide yes or no. If by when, November elections?
Early next year.
Early next year. We talking at a scale 1 to 10. What's the likelihood of you running?
Somewhere between 1 and 10.
I was going to say spoken like a true, but not spoken like a true doctor. No, I don't. Anyway, great to see you, sir. And in regards to your lovely wife, who I had the pleasure of meeting down in Florida, the great Ben Carson, ladies and gentlemen. And the book, again, is One Nation. So make sure you pick it up. And always great to talk to Dr. Carson. All right, folks, we're coming back. Much more straight ahead. Steve Malzberg Show. Thank you.